behalf of the University of Arts in Belgrade, I have honor to open conference culture and sustainable development at time of crisis, and to express my warmest welcome to all the participants at this important jubilee. 10 years of UNESCO Chair in Cultural Policy and Management, established in 2004 in collaboration with the University Lyon II at the Interdisciplinary Studies of the University of Arts in Belgrade. We are very proud that one of the first and certainly unique chair in this program is established at our university, thanks to the exceptional dedication of its founder, former rector of the University of Arts in Belgrade, Professor Ljiljana Mrkić Popović, as I call him in Serbia. In the past 10 years, UNESCO chair has given valuable and outstanding results in the field of cultural management and art, cultural policy, communications, and media in our country and abroad. The special contribution is visible through its alumni, prominent professionals who invest their knowledge and experience in the promotion and affirmation of professionalism of cultural sector in Serbia, but also in the entire Balkans. I wish you all successful work and great outcomes in your conference deliberations. Welcome to the University of Arts.
Thank you. I would like to invite Mrs. Jasna Zdanović from the Serbian Commission from UNESCO to address us.
Dame i gospodo, dragi gosti, želela bih da vas pozdravim u ime Nacionalne komisije Srbije za saradnju sa UNESCO i pre svega da čestitam na jubileju katedri za UNESCO na ovom univerzitetu. While creating jobs, the creative economy contributes to the overall well-being of communities, individual self-esteem and quality of life, thus achieving inclusive and sustainable development. These were the words of Irina Bokova, Director General of UNESCO. What are the UNESCO formulated proposals for empowerment of culture for development? First of all is to place culture at the heart of development. Culture is an essential investment for peace and stability and is a prerequisite for the success of human development. A more visible and effective inclusion of culture in development programs at local, national, and international levels is critical for sustainable development. Integrate culture in country-level policies. These are the UNESCO objectives. Fully acknowledging national and subnational engagement is critical to promote effective culture-sensitive policies and strategies for development with UNESCO International Convention, serving as a guide, and I would add as a tool. All mentioned above is needed in modern societies that are willing to make a step forward. But the figures, especially in developing countries such as Serbia, are showing that the fundamental interest for cultural programs is very little. We are to conclude that culture is closely linked with education, and if the school children are not turned to cultural content, it is difficult to expect from them later on to become stakeholders and active participants in developing work. According to the results of research done by the Institute for the Study of Cultural Development in Belgrade, more than 85% of college students are not going to the museums and cultural events. More than 71% of them are not going to the cinema either. The only interest is clubbing, 63%, sport events, 43%, followed by the concerts, 24%. These results are more than discouraging. Taking into account some figures and information that were provided by the National Commission of Germany, for example, which is a really high standard, we can note with concern that culture and creative industry are positioned on the third place in their GDP just after mechanical engineering and car production, which makes for culture industry 61 billion per year in GDP. These figures should inspire us while formulating our objectives in order to survive the crisis. For the sake of francophonie, je vais vous dire quelques mots en français. Pendant des années, une réflexion s'est amorcée sur le thème de la culture et du développement, et l'UNESCO même y a apporté une contribution remarquable. Par conséquent, la dimension culturelle est devenue un élément central des discours sur le développement durable et de plus en plus présente comme le quatrième pilier du développement durable, à côté des piliers économiques, social et environnemental. Et dans l'esprit de l'UNESCO, je vais terminer par une citation de Léon Blum: la seule réalisation impérissable du travail et de l'énergie humaine, c'est l'art. Merci, madame.
Merci beaucoup. It's really in the spirit of this UNESCO chair, because we are both Anglophone and Francophone chair, and lectures and exams are in those two languages. So this is something we also, I think, this university has quite a large number of Francophone professors. And greeting Ambassador Dragan Županjevac from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I would like also to ask you to address
It is my pleasure. First of all, let me apologize for being late, but we went to the university in Beogradu.
Oh, that was your drama.
So we had, it was a dramatic hike, so we had the drama this morning. So in the letter it didn't say but only 15 minutes late is academic. Dear Rector, professors, it is my great pleasure and honor to be with you this morning. You have organized a seminar, a meeting on culture and sustainable development in a time of crisis. I think that the timing of this seminar is absolutely incredibly fitting, and I wrote my speech in Serbian, but I will ad-lib in English, which is not going to be difficult for me. So I want to congratulate you again as the organizers, because to organize a discussion on the role of culture in the sustainable development process and framework is extremely important at this moment. Why? Because we had the Millennium Development Goals, which were adopted at the Millennium Summit in 2000. They are reaching their conclusion in 2015. Within the United Nations, as we speak, there is an intensive debate on the formulation of the development agenda post-2015. So, to discuss what the role of culture is in this very dramatic discussion on the future of our planet, I think is very, very fitting, and it's very important, and really well done that you are doing this in Belgrade today. I think the academic community is way ahead of some of our ministries that should be involved in this more fittingly. What is also important, that's why I also think that in the General Assembly of the United Nations in May, there is going to be a similar discussion. In the GA in May, at a high level, the United Nations and the General Assembly wants to discuss the role of culture in sustainable development. When we look at all the documents that have appeared in this sustainable development story since 1972 and the first Stockholm meeting, and through the Rio meeting of 1992, and then the 2012 conference in Rio de Janeiro, which was called Rio +20. If you look at all these documents, you will see that culture is not very much present. In the 30-page document called The Future We Want, that was adopted at Rio de Janeiro, there are only two references to culture. One is to cultural diversity, and the other is the role of culture in tourism. but there is obviously a cognizance, there is obviously an awareness that you cannot talk about the future of humanity, you cannot talk about the future of the world, the survival of the planet, by ignoring culture. And now, it may be lately, it has become very, very topical, so that at the Economic and Social Council, which is the main organ of the United Nations in the economical, social, and environmental field, at their substantial session in July of last year, there was a major debate about the role of science, technology, innovation, and the potential of culture in the Sustainable Development Framework. So we're coming to the point where we're realizing that culture is unavoidable. I remember a favorite French film that I saw once, which was called Bonne Année, where there was a wonderful sentence which I think is very topical, where it said that when everything disappears and when everything is forgotten, culture is the only thing that remains. So without culture, we are going to be lost. Now, culture is omnipresent, it has to be everywhere, but yet it is not spelled out in the Millennium Development Goals that deals with issues like poverty reduction, gender equality, health, maternal health, childhood, eradication of illnesses, sustainable environment. There is no particular reference to culture. Even in the formulation of the post-2015 development goals, there are references to education, but it's all energy, eradication of poverty, transport, sustainable cities, but there is no standalone goal for culture. And I think this must be changed. Now, Serbia has lately become quite active in this process, in this global debate on sustainable development. We are not only now, after 22 years, again, a member of the Economic and Social Council. We have been away from these bodies for many, many years, but now we're a full-fledged member of Rektorata. We are a member of the Open Working Group on Sustainable Development, and I take part in the Intergovernmental Working Group on Financing for Development. So we're in the story at last, but maybe late. But I think that what the challenge is for Serbia, Serbia has to find its place, it has to find its niche, in which way we contribute to this debate. What is logical for Serbia, which is with a country which has an increase of poverty, not a decrease, as was the aim of the Millennium Development Goals. In the last 5 years, our rate of poverty is going up. So obviously Serbia will be very much interested in the poverty issue, but all countries believe that this is a primary goal. But we also have to talk about the drama that we're having with unemployment, and especially youth unemployment. And my friend here and colleague from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs talked to you about some of these dramatic concerns and challenges that we have, where it's okay for our youth to like clubbing. We all like it, but if that is the only way, it's not healthy. So we have to try to put youth and unemployment, but in my opinion, also culture, the role of culture into the quest for a more sustainable development future. Now, sustainable development, in my opinion, is also basically a story about morals and ethics. It is, as was written in the Brundtland report, it is the question of solidarity, not among civilizations and nations, among ourselves here today, but about our commitment and solidarity to future generations. If present models of consumption and production continue in the next 30 to 40 years, I was at a meeting in New York about a month ago, one of the panelists said, we will need 5 planets. 1 planet will not be enough, because now we have the Chinese and the Indians, they're all going to become middle class, they're all going to be driving cars, they're building 1 thermal electric power station in China every 2 days. So we have a tremendous challenge. Any development that is before us, it has to be sustainable. It must not undermine the planet that we live. And the role of culture has to be to raise the awareness. It has to be so that in these new goals that are being formulated for 2015, in the ideal world, they should be simple and understandable so that every school child knows what has to be done and how we have to behave in the future. And this is why culture, through education, but also with the role of culture in the creative industries, with the role of culture in media, with the role of culture in advertising, and with the role of culture in tourism, has a real key role to play. So I congratulate you once again for organizing this meeting. I think it's extremely fitting. I think the Secretary General of the United Nations would congratulate you.